As a part of Learn, Train and Share, me, Ms. Vidya Sriram, is here to present something about Century Tech, which we all know. Before doing that, I would like to thank Sapna for this initiative because I think this is a very good initiative where we could share what we know and we could learn so many different things. Moving on. So, Century Tech, we all have our logins. So, once we log in into the Century Tech, we move into our different panels, which is over there. So, I'm just going to show you that right now. So, moving on. So yes, so if you look at this, once you've logged in, there are different options for you to choose from. So we would look at the dashboard, which is the teacher dashboard. Now, after a student does Century, we assign work, they do work. We check the status, whether they've completed or they haven't completed. But what else can we do with Century? What are the other analyticals that we do with Century? So here I'm just going to, this is an effort just to show you the different analyticals that are possible using Century and what kind of information can we gather from Century. Again, just a quick understanding over here. This is completely a system based, so our judgments should solely not be just based on the results from Century, but obviously teacher judgment and based on whether the child is understood or not is very, very important. But this is another tool to give us a starting point about the student's understanding. Okay, so the first tab over here is the overview tab. So on the overview tab, when you choose your subject, so if I'm choosing DS Year 10 Math for my class that I teach, I get an overview on this page. So just quickly getting through the left-hand side of the page, here this gives me the average score of my class. At what level are they at? What's the average percentage in all the nuggets that they have completed? So 80%, not bad. That's a good score that we are looking at. On the left side, I have got the first panel shows me the study time spent. It does tell me about the top three and the bottom three. The top three students who spend a lot of time on Century, probably going through the nuggets and taking up the assessments or redoing it when they are not very comfortable with the score or whatever. The top three over here are the top three, and these are the bottom three. Now, we always do realize that the top three are always hardworking and they have given in their best, but what about the bottom three? So we have to come up with some system of encouraging them to spend more time on Century. Or this first step would be to find out why aren't they spending more time on Century. Again, highest ranked and lowest ranked, yes, based on the score of the students on the nuggets that they have performed, you get the highest ranked students and the lowest ranked students. On the right side of the overview page over here, you've got the names. Main two important columns that I look at is the average score. So when I click on the average score, it arranges in a descending order or ascending order as per your choice. So if I'm going to go at the descending order, it gives me the top performers with how much total study time for all the nuggets so far that has been assigned, and also the bottom liners who need probably more help and more focus on those. Interesting fact over here is, even though there are some people who have less study time, their average score is still fine. So it depends on the analysis. You need to go into furthermore analysis to see what else you could do to improve their scores. Right. The next tab that I'm going to look at is the mark book. I think most of us use this tab over here for analysis, which is perfect. You can check each and every nugget, what have they scored, how much they have scored, and you get an overview of all the nuggets that they have done in a particular topic. So over here, what you can see right now is a topic which we did, sets and Venn diagrams for year 10. So under these are the nuggets that they have done so far. So each of these nuggets, when you click on the nugget name, you could see it is number one, these are the average scores. It arranges in the descending order, and also you could see if there is anyone who hasn't completed any nugget for any reason. So that's how you could find out or track the completion of students' work. Like I can see one student who had the shortest study time over there was one who is very irregular with his completion of sensory tech nuggets. So my focus should be to encourage this child to spend more time by probably giving him some rewards or something, so that he could spend more time on sensory and complete the work over there. If you look at certain nuggets, I only half. These are the ones who have continued with it. These nuggets are not assigned by the teacher, but still, as an out of interest, they continue to do these nuggets, is what you could see. So that's another thing, advantage of giving them the whole course. When you give them the whole course, they can see this whole aspect of whatever nuggets they want, and they can go ahead, and teacher can use a planner to assign the nuggets that she wants is important for them to do. So that is the mark book. This a very has every mark book has options. You have different options over here. This is one way of viewing the data. The other way of viewing the data is like this: the colored cells. So the colored cells again give you more idea about another way of representation of data, and you could see it more colorful. Then you could also see, if I don't want the ones which are not there, I can just put a thing over here, attempted nuggets, and then I can just say download as an Excel. When I click download as an Excel, the whole result gets downloaded as an Excel for me. And when you open that Excel sheet, you have the data with you. Now, analysis is easy over here. Once you have the data over here, you could just select the rows. You could see the average over here if you want. You could just say it's an Excel, so all the formulas that you need to do on Excel can be done, and you could calculate the average and everything over there. So this is one way of downloading the results and keeping it with you. Right, this is a new option which has come up, which is saying that you could have the data that is there over the previous 7 days of data that is there. So there was nothing in the previous 7 days of the data which was over there. So previous 28 days data, you could see that the data pops up over there. So this is the time frame that could be used to see the mark book from which date to which date you have used. The next is the nuggets. Nuggets again give you an overview of everything. So mark book, you could still see the nuggets, but the most important thing over here is you could see in these nuggets how many of them have got it right, wrong. So each nugget has question wise. So say for example, this particular course of sets and Venn diagrams, this particular nugget is chosen in it, constructing Venn diagrams 2. So in constructing Venn diagrams too, we had 10 questions. So you could see the questions over here: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So question wise analysis. I want to see how many of them have done which question right. So you could see a graph gives you over there. You have the interventions over here. We come to the interventions a little bit in detail after we finish this. So let's look at the last attempt over here of the nuggets. They can take multiple attempts and improve their score. So this is the last attempt that they have taken. Right. Now this is the score of every child. If I'm just going to click on the question 1, you could see that over here. Okay, I'm just going to go and show colored cells because that looks very nice in terms of looking at question wise analysis. So when I'm looking at question 1, there are only 4 students out of 30 students over here who've got this wrong. So it's easy for me. I don't have to discuss this question with the entire class. I would explain it to these 4 students, probably group them together and explain it together. If I'm going to look at the second question, the status is the same, but 4 different students now. So this gives you a question-wise analysis. If you could see over here, the graph gives you a better overview. Question 5, all of those who attempted have got it right. So the maximum focus area would be question 6 and question 7, because the percentage of students who've got incorrect are more over there. So when you just click on that particular bar of the graph, it gives you how many of them are correct or got it correct and how many of them got it incorrect. So you could just go ahead with question 6. So I go to question 6, I click on the question, I get the question over there, and I can now share the screen with my students and I can explain what went wrong with the entire class. This is This could be a starter, this could be a plenary. If you've given the work the previous week or previous day, and then the next day you're continuing with the next topic, you just have to open this analysis with you that you've done. So you open this particular question and you say, okay, now I find that most of you have got this wrong, so this is the problem with this particular question, right? So this helps us very, very well in terms of understanding the analyticals question wise of every nugget. So that's your bar graph which shows its skills. Interventions are what you do after this nugget. Interventions can be done after every nugget. Interventions can be done at the course. So the interventions that you see over here are the interventions that shows after this particular nugget, on this particular nugget that we are discussing right now, constructing Venn diagrams too. So over here, if you see, you can see that needs more stretch. These are the ones who have got 90%, and you want to challenge them with higher order thinking questions. So these are your exceeding ones whom you really want to challenge them. So that's needs stretch. Needs more effort are the ones who are spending less amount of time. They haven't done the nugget well, they haven't seen the video more, so they need more effort in watching the video and then redoing it, suggesting them to go through the video again, or you give teaching them and then doing it. Needs more effort as well. They need to try it more diligently and try it more. Praise for commitment, the ones who have tried to improve their score couple of times. They did it first, they didn't get it good, but then they again tried the nugget and they got it. That's praise for commitment. Needs support, irrespective of spending a lot of time on the nugget, they still are not able to get the concept. So these children over here are my focus area. So next day, say for example, I did constructing Venn diagrams yesterday. They have done the nugget. This gives me an input. So today, what do? I plan my lesson by giving higher order thinking questions to these children. I give a very standing instruction for these children saying that, okay, you need more effort. So you would be going ahead and taking up the nugget again. And praise for commitment. Again, you could give them more higher order exceeding questions, and you can club these two together if their scores are better. If their scores, though they have tried hard, but their scores are a little more less, like say for example, these children who've got 90% score, which is good. 100% score. So these children have put in an effort, so they can move to higher order. But if the children are somewhere over here, where in this particular case I don't have, but there are children over here at the lower end, and I can club them with need support, and I can interfere, grouping them together, teaching them, and giving them more instructions, more clarity on this topic, like that. So interventions over here are very, very, very important. I use this very often when I try to analyze data based on what they have performed in mathematics for a particular topic, and especially for the ones which are very, very important, right? Okay, that's about nuggets. Very, very beautiful place to analyze their performance. Assignments. Okay. Again, question wise, that can be downloaded as an example. Assignments are the assignments that you give them extra worksheets that you assign them for an assignment, and then they do. So, the same way analysis can be done in terms of their score, and feedback can be given as an oral feedback for them. So, this is assignments that you have assigned and how students have performed in the assignment. So, this could be anything like past paper questions or any one question of that, any interesting question, any challenging question. Like we saw in the nuggets that there were certain children who need stretch, who needs higher order thinking. So I just picked two higher order thinking questions, keep it ready, and assign them in the assignment, and students can be assigned and they can do it. So that's about every nugget that you do and how do you do the analysis. The next two are the whole course together. The whole course of mathematics has different skills that you could see. So over here, if you could see what are the skills that they are talking about, they talk about three skills over here. First skill is use and apply standard techniques. So if I'm just going to unclick everything, then you could see it's blank. So I could go at each and every skill and see where my class stands, who are my exceeding students, who are my struggling students who need my intervention. So let me look at the first one. Use and apply standard techniques. So if you could see, all of them are over there which is above 60%, which is good. But I can see this child who is there at 60%, um, close to 60%. So these are the three children who I would probably I would probably need to give them more guidance and interventions. I'm looking at this child also over here who's a 67. This is my child who's performing really well in my class. These are my children who are almost there at the exceeding level, and I just need to ensure that I encourage them by giving them challenging questions. The one just below are my above expected students who I will take them forward by giving them more challenging work and encouraging them to do better in the next course or whatever they're doing. Next is reasoning skills, very very important in mathematics that you see. And if you see, our reasoning skills have always been up and down, so you can see the curve. It's going up down like that. And you can see there are a lot of children who are just here. These are my emerging, though they are not in the struggling category, but still they are not in my expected category. So more of reasoning skills is what this class needs. I have to give them more questions pertaining to reasoning. They need more reasoning skills, and that's my effort that I do in the class, to ask them questions like, why do you think I did this step? Can you reason out mathematically? Those kind of questions. So this gives you an overall view of the performance of these nuggets that has been done. And we are towards the end of this year, where we've used Century quite often, so you've got a good amount of data to look at to understand. This could be the starting point for the next year as well. I'm just looking at the third category, mathematics in real life concepts, solves problems. So this is again RLA, real life application in mathematics. And again, you could see that this is an area of concern, and mathematical skills, real life application has always been a question mark for our students, which they have to always encourage, to do it more better, because there are a lot of skills involved, like reading everything, right? The same way, intervention does it more topic wise, strand wise, number, addition and subtraction, like that. So even in interventions, I could see the complete overview of where my children are there and what interventions I can give them. So this is an overview of the entire course. What we saw on the nugget was the intervention for that nugget. Here I can see the intervention of the entire course. So again, need support are my children who really need my help for every topic that they do. And these, if you actually look at them, they are the ones who are in your emerging list as well. These are my exceeding ones, needs more effort, is a blend of both exceeding and the ones who do not put in that effort at all. So they need to be encouraged to put in more effort. Praise for commitment are the really hard workers over there, who are trying to work again and again to improve their scores. So you've got a good amount of interventions. Based on this, you could plan your interventions. Need support would need your one-on-one. Need stretch is in our independent workers with independent students, where they need to work with higher order thinking question. Praise for commitment, who are at a very high score, can be moved to need stretch by giving them higher order, and the ones who need your help over here can move down to need support. The same thing, need more effort, encourage them to do more often Century Tech by giving them rewards or whatever, giving them reward points, that if you do so many nuggets and so many times, you can improve your score, and that's your reward or whatever. So this is just the teacher dashboard, which gives you so much of information about the Century and how much we have used. I hope this session was useful, and I'm just assuming that you use most of these things. So if you are using all of these, well and good. If not, you should try these things. And the best part is, all these scores can be downloaded as an Excel. You can save them. You can work with the Excel in terms of generating your own graphs strand wise, or however you want. Few points that I feel over here is, students' weakest points, students' strongest points can be found out. Nugget wise, which particular topic needs to be revisited from your end can be found out. You could also talk in terms of interventions to children, in terms of who needs support, group them together, and you can have your intervention. So that's it on Century Tech from my side. So I hope these analyticals help you to analyze further. Yes, do look. These are right now available for the three courses, main courses, subjects, math, sciences, and English. However, they are coming up with various different courses as well. So keep looking for their emails and their updates where you've got a lot of different and new courses which come up. Thank you so much. I would like to once again thank Ms. Sapna Changrani for giving me this opportunity. Thank you. Have a nice day.